thank for coming on the scene. Why? We were inexorably heading towards a one-party state, essentially. The last time we came close to it, I had one governor, I think Governor Abdullahi in Osho, saying that he's not going to leave PDP, but he's going to back President Tinubu. I mean, the last time we came close to anything like that was during Abacha, when people would be in one party and be supporting the candidate of another. It has never happened before. So for whatever it is worth, ADC is giving Nigerians alternative. So when we arrive 2027, Nigerians can look at the APC and say, are we happy with them? Okay, let them continue. If we are not happy, then what alternative? It's dangerous if there are no alternatives. The truth is that 90% of Nigerians are still in poverty. Nigeria is still the most unequal country in the world. And there are structural issues that need to be addressed that you are not addressing. Nigeria does not even have the infrastructure for social intervention. When we do social intervention as government, as you see in the last administration, it's still ad hoc. Trader money, this, that, we still don't have the infrastructure to deliver it, right? And the physical infrastructure that supports reproductivity are not there. Agriculture, for example, manufacturing, for example. So these are deeper economic issues that we believe the government needs to focus on rather than just GDP. Now, the second point, what are the indicators that you are focusing on? For the first time, Nigeria is including illicit activities as part of economic activity, prostitution, drug trafficking. I mean, this is shocking. Now, just to boost the GDP, they are now included. Now, as strange as it may sound, it's actually not a completely weird thing. That's what statisticians do, right? The United Nations Statistical Commission actually recognized that those are economic activities, and the system of national accounting, you can actually include those things. But the question is, for Nigeria, there are two issues here. One, are we now normalizing prostitution? Are we now normalizing drug trafficking? Are we now normalizing human trafficking? How long will it take us before we start including Yahoo activities as part of economic activities, right? So that is the question, the ethical issue, the social concern, that the implication of including these and recognizing them. You can say there are people in ADC who just want to grab power. You can say there are people who are just doing this because they are out of power. But can we also agree that there are people who form sufficient critical mass within this new party that are willing, that are tired of being looked down upon just because we are politicians? I see it. I can encounter it every day. So when I introduce myself as a writer, people look at me and say, wow. But the moment I say I'm a politician, people begin to. So I'm tired. And there are many people who feel like that. We don't have to be ashamed to be politicians. If some people have given politics a bad name, some people have to say, look, we must give politics a good name by using it for what it should be used for, the service of the people. So what do you ask me, what would ADC do differently? ADC will play by new rules we are setting for ourselves now. ADC will be the party that is governed by its own membership. ADC will set rules that ADC is not going to have its elected officials being overlords over the party. These are the new rules we are setting for ourselves. And I'd like to give an example of the UPN in the Second Republic. If you were a UPN governor, no matter how useless you are, you will do free education. That happened in this country. So can we begin to look back into our own history and see what we can learn? But in terms of the immediate challenges, ADC wants to be the people that address directly what concerns Nigerians. And I don't want to sit here and give you my personal opinion. In the coming weeks, we are going to release the documents about our plans, our manifesto, our program. We are working on that already. So when that comes out, I can come back here and
Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us on Political Lens. I am Chukuma Okoro. We are broadcasting on Metro SL TV channel 264. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People Television, and on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. You can also watch us on VOTV Plus. It's our alternative channel on YouTube. Well, join the conversation by calling in or sending WhatsApp messages to the number shown on your screen. Feel free to ask the guests constructive questions if you have any. Now, the voice you heard is that of the Interim National Publicity Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, talking about the alternative that ADC is here to provide, and the fact that, according to him, that the ADC is democratic and is trying to push, the democratic frontiers to the extent that up until this moment, according to him, the ADC has not anointed any presidential candidate. Well, on the show today, Tinubu, APC intimidating, stopping governors from joining the ADC coalition. That is also coming from Bolaji Abdullahi. Well, we are joined virtually by Honorable George Ashiru. Honorable George Ashiru is the chairman of the Lagos ADC. Good evening, Honorable George Ashiru, and thanks for coming to Political Lens. We appreciate your presence on the show.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, big one. I appreciate your presence. Now let's get into it. The African Democratic Congress, your party, ADC, has disclosed that state governors were hesitant to join the opposition coalition platform because of intimidation. The ADC's Interim National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, stated this on Saturday during the third expanded meeting of the National Political Consultative Group, NOT, held in Abuja. He described the intimidation as a conspiracy against the Nigerian people. While a few Nigerians have since aligned with the party, no sitting governor has joined since its inauguration. Abdullahi attributed the hesitation to fear, stating that some governors were aligning with President Tinubu to avoid being intimidated. He stated, and I quote, "We don't need to particularly target any 7 governor. We know that no 7 governor will want to come to us now because of the kind of intimidation they are facing. We know that we know what they are doing to them. Some of them who cannot jump to their party, that is the APC, are saying we are endorsing their presidential candidate, Tinubu. That is no problem. But what you are seeing is a conspiracy against the Nigerian people. The ADC welcomes everybody, but we are convinced that we are a movement that has the backing of the majority of Nigerians who are not happy with the direction this country is going," the former Minister of Youth and Sport stated. Meanwhile, the ADC has stated that it is too early in the day to decide who becomes its 2027 presidential candidate. Abdullahi said that the party is focused on building a strong political party, adding that it has no preferred presidential candidate at the moment. He said, and I quote, "We don't have any favorite aspirants or candidates. We are not having any conversation. At the moment, nobody has ever had any conversation about who will be the party's flag bearer. We believe that it is too early in the day. Our focus now is to build a political party that is strong enough to deliver on the mission that we have set for ourselves. Currently, 3 names are rumored to be interested in ADC's presidential ticket. These include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Governor of Anambra State and presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Mr. Peter Obi, and former Minister of Transportation, Mr. Rotimi Amechi." Well, Honorable Ashiru, you heard it all. Let's start with what the ADC stands for at the moment: an opposition and a congregation of people who are dissatisfied with the ruling APC and the policies of Tinubu administration. Your Interim National Policy Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, said that ADC is coming as an alternative. What fresh perspectives are you bringing to governance? Let us hear from you. You are the chairman of the ADC in Lagos. What are you bringing? What is new? What are you coming with? That to tell Nigerians that, look, ADC is the party, to run with.
Thank you very, very much. It's my pleasure to be here this evening to speak to your listeners. And it's a great thing that my boss, he was my boss, many years ago when he was minister and I was president of Taekwondo, and now we are in the same political party, and he speaks for the party beautifully. Madam Bolaji Abdullahi. And what I can tell you is this: one of the great things about ADC is that we don't have any record of malfeasance. We have not been in government and stolen the people's money. We have not been in government and mismanaged the people's wealth, commonwealth. We have not been in government and given the wrong type of leadership. We have created for 19 years an organization specially designed to, one, create a warm handshake, which means we believe in the unity and progress of Nigeria, as the motto of Nigeria believes. We also are a party that believes in internal democracy. We don't have godfathers who control the party, who tell the party to go left or to go right, and who buy people in order to silence them. We are a party that believes in the people. Our policies are centered around the people: healthcare, education, agriculture for feeding, ensuring that we lift people out of poverty. We are the party that stands for what Nigeria's politicians and political leaders had in mind in 1970 when we came out of the Civil War: rebuilding the nation, creating, a unified body of people who are called Nigerians. In the 70s, Nigeria had a wonderful economy. Our dollar, our price to the dollar, so our exchange rate to the dollar to the pound was at par. You could travel abroad with a Commonwealth passport without visa required, and we were growing as a beautiful country. Then suddenly, a group of people seized power and decided to make it an ultra capitalist country where the poor remain poor and the rich get richer. And I think that is why people in Nigeria don't believe in politics or politicians anymore. And we are hoping that we can give that credible alternative that people will look at and say, now this is what governance is all about. It's not just about power, it's about service.
Okay, very beautiful and quite instructive. It's interesting to know that you said that that ADC has never been in government before. But should it bother you, and should it bother Nigerians, that the people who are coalescing to take out the APC are the same people who at one time or the other belonged either to the APC or to the PDP as founding members and operatives in immediate past administration? Look, let's talk about your National Public Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi. Let's look at Rotimi Amechi. Let's look at Nasiru El-Rufai. Let's look at who else? John Odigi Oyegun, who was the pioneer national chairman of your party. Now, we understand that ADC as a party has not been in government. Oyegun the other day said, when he picked up his membership card in Benin City, he said that, look, the ADC is the best of APC and PDP put together. And I mean, Nigerians are like, if Oyegu tells us that the ADC is the best of APC and PDP put together, shouldn't Nigerians be worried? Because these are the same people, I've mentioned their names, who ran this country aground in the past 25 years. Shouldn't it bother Nigerians that they are coming together to tell us exactly what they told us 10 years ago, what they told us 25 years ago? Shouldn't it be concerning to Nigerians?
But it's a bit like saying that Nigerians are associated with 419, Nigerians are associated with internet fraud. And so when the average Nigerian goes to another country like Gabon, like Russia and Moscow, Nigerians are looked at with suspicion, and they will say, oh, are you not a Nigerian? Are you all not all thieves? Are you all not internet fraudsters? So we don't paint everyone with the same brush. Okay. One of the things I keep saying over and over again is that anyone who has not violated the Constitution or has not been convicted of fraud, convicted in any capacity by court of law, has a right to join ADC. Now, one of the key things we are going to find with all of the people who are coming to ADC is, at their best, what they wanted was a party like ADC, but they ended up in a party that had the wrong culture. And the wrong culture brings out the worst in your behavior. If you joined a gang, you behave like a gangster, even if you are informally innocent. And I think what we find is that people join some of these parties in the past as technocrats, and they found that they could not operate because it was headed by people or owned by people that did not want things to work for whatever reasons. And they all wanted to redeem themselves in some instances. I will tell you for a fact that when Bolaji Abdullahi was minister, he did his best to reform Nigerian sports. He only had a year and a half, not enough to be able to do it. He only had a year and a half because I worked directly under him. We came in practically at the same period. And I know he introduced a high performance system that was supposed to rescue Nigerian sport. He did not even get to smell the light of day, both because of internal resistance within the government, I'm talking about the public service, as well as the political influence in terms of what he wanted to do. And he was frustrated out. And I'm sure quite a lot of these people were people that were frustrated out of the system and felt, look, this is the second chance to redeem what we have done. Now, there will be those who will come, known or unknown, who were part of whatever was wrong in the past, but they have recognized the fact that this is a chance to change that narrative, to renew it, to redeem it, and make Nigeria a better place. And by the way, the idea of picking ADC is that ADC had the best internal system, structure, rules, regulations, and policies that they found actually speaks to Nigerians. They could have gone to any other political party, but they came to ADC because they believe that for a change, we have seen a party that has taken the time to craft its own philosophy, taking the time to craft its presence in the national scene without disrupting what was existing. But now, what the kind of disruption we are getting right now is the positive type, where everybody comes together. So there will be no chance for one person to control that, one person to decide that. It has to be consensus, and that consensus means those of us who are already in ADC and those who are coming into ADC, we will all decide how we're going to move Nigeria forward. But it will not fundamentally change what ADC stands for, which is centered around service to the people. Look at Lagos State, for instance.
Okay.
There's a lot of development in Lagos State. Oh, there's a lot of development. Look around you. All you see is bridge, Eco Atlantic. But the average Lagosian is still living below poverty line. So what is the point having building a city near the sea that the plot of land costs many billions, and you can't even give access to the average Lagosian?
Okay.
These are some of the things we talk about.
All right. Honorable Ashiru, I'm sorry to butt in at this moment because we are going to talk about Lagos extensively. I will come to that. We are going to talk about Lagos, where you are the chairman of the ADC and all of that, and what is going on in Lagos State. I would like for us to stay at the moment at the national level, still interrogating, the characters within the within the ADC. I want a situation where Nigerians, will understand what's going on, what went down in the past, and the future, what the promises of the future for them. I ask that in the light of the fact that Wike has described the ADC as a coalition of political rascals, political mafia, and it's like, okay, and I ask you, if somebody like Rotimi Amechi made it back to government, do you think that he will be so outspoken against this administration? If somebody like Nasir El-Rufai made it back to government, he tried to get into the cabinet and he was unsuccessful, will he be so outspoken about this government? Talk about Rauf Aregbesola, Do you think that if all these people were still in government and they have been described as people who are hungry, people who are heart of government, and they are looking for political relevance. If you consider all these people and the circumstances surrounding them, doesn't that description fit of a political mafia who are only interested in getting back to government?
Let me ask Nigerians this same question, those who are saying this. Donald Trump of America once ran for president, and then he criticized those who were there before him. He became the president of America. He was voted out. He continued criticizing, and Americans gave him a second chance.
Okay.
What it means is that the fact that you've been there before, the fact that you don't see what is right while you were in the opposition, so to speak, and you wanted to find a second chance to redeem it, to do it properly based on hindsight, and then using a platform, not the same type that you had before, a platform that has the innocence of not being soiled in whatever integrity issues political parties tend to have. Isn't that a better way to save and serve the country than to be on the sidelines perennially criticizing, be on the sidelines, perennially looking at what is wrong but not getting involved? Much more than that is the fact that when we build a political movement, we need to have the young, the old, the new, and the experienced. We need to have within that system those who understand how it works. Having former ministers, having former senators, serving senators, all that in this mix means that they are able to show us where the issues are when they were in government, what problems they encountered, why they failed, how they could do better. Look, I say one thing, the best book anybody can write is the book about their failures in life rather than all their successes, because we will learn more from what is wrong rather than what they think they did right. So, to us, trying to have a party where you are going to excise some people is not democratic.
Okay.
It's not patriotic either. We need to have the mix. Don't forget, 99% of members of ADC now are not in government or were never in government. So picking 5, 6 people out of hundreds of thousands of people that have joined of recent is probably not speaking about the culture and the people in that party ADC that we all belong to.
Okay, now Honorable Ashur, before we leave this particular conversation and get into another, talking about the relying on experience, you know, people like Rotimi Amechi, people like Nasir El-Rufai, people like Bukola Saraki, these are the people that were in PDP. They knew the mistakes that PDP made. They went into the APC and repeated the same mistakes after 10 years. Now, after 10 years, the same set of people are coming back to tell us. I'm moving from the premise that you established that these are people who have served in government. David Mark, your interim national chairman, was a Senate president. Rotimi Amechi, they were all in the PDP with Bukola, jumped into APC, offered an alternative. And where is the alternative now? So I'm trying to I want you to convince Nigerians that, look, it is not going to be business as usual, because moving from the premise you established, we also have the other side that people that served in the PDP moved into the APC, also made the same mistake. So what guarantee do Nigerians have that they will repeat those mistakes this time around?
Thank you very much for that. You know, as a person who is in leadership,
okay,
I always believe the buck stops at the table of the leader at the top.
Okay.
Corporate culture is created by the leader. So when you have a leader that promotes impunity, all the followers will practice impunity. If you have a leader that promotes discipline, all the followers will practice discipline. And in fact, one of the challenges of the other parties you mentioned is that within the structure that they created, they were rushing to take power, and they had not spent enough time to build on their corporate culture as organizations. What do we stand for, and what kind of governance do we want to have? Look at 1999. There was a rush, you know, to create political parties and register them quickly in order to transfer power from the military. A lot of these people were different people from different backgrounds who had no idea how to perfect the democracy that they were going to inherit. They just wanted to take over as quickly as possible. Over the years, they had not been able, for lack of true leadership, the kind of leadership we had in the days of Ahmadu Bello, in those days of Awolowo, in the days of Zik, that had proper philosophies and ideologies of government, Balarabe Musa and co. They understood what they wanted to do, and it was more for the people, and it affected the governors who became governors when they were leaders of their parties. When Awolowo was a leader in the Southwest, all the Southwest governors behaved properly and made a difference to what we see as development in the Southwest, because it came from the top. But if the top is filled with someone who is just a Machiavellian leader, who is only interested in power, who is interested in control, who is interested in, look, my way or no way, that's the culture that's going to go down the line. And sometimes people run away from that culture so that they can have a second chance to do what they feel is right. Because if you belong to a cult, you cannot do what you like, you do what the cult tells you to do.
Okay, we seem to be having a network glitch. We've lost connection with Honorable George Ashuru. Let's try to fix that. We'll go for a short break and we'll return quickly.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And if you have just joined us, this is Political Lens on Voice of the People Television. We've been able to re-establish a connection with Honorable George Ashiru, the State Chairman of the ADC here in Lagos State. Honorable, good to have you back. I would like for you to land on your thought before we move on.
Yes, thank you. You know, I was saying just before, unfortunately, we were cut off, that what we have discovered in the political world is that the culture that exists within an organization is dependent on the leadership style of the people at the top. So when the leader is a type that does not practice democracy, does not like democracy, tells you what to do, whatever his antecedents and his character and his desires, that's what everybody will do. Sometimes some people get out of that system because they know it is not right and they want to redeem themselves by going to another place where they can show what they can do well. People have been known to leave organizations, banks, corporate entities, and so on and so forth, because they don't like the leadership style, they don't like the culture, but they are smeared under the same brush, you know, because unfortunately, you know, that's what they represent. But when they get a second chance to go to another place, you see a different person. We've known men and women who got married and they fought themselves and they got divorced and they both got remarried and they were of their best character. Clearly, the institution within which they initially had some challenges, and now the best of their character is coming out. So we believe in redemption. We believe that everybody has a chance to showcase what they really are capable of when they are not hamstringed, you know, by the type of leadership of organizations they previously belonged.
Okay, we still seem to be having a network glitch. But what we are essentially doing is to interrogate, you know, what ADC as a political party, as the opposition political party, a vibrant one, a viral one, has as an alternative to offer the Nigerian people. And I think the state chairman of the ADC in Lagos State has been able to offer, you know, valuable insights into what the ADC stand for and what they are bringing to the table of Nigerians. At the moment, the big issue that we want to get into before we lost network connection is the fact that Bolaji Abdullahi, the interim national public secretary of the party, has said that the present government is intimidating and harassing governors who ordinarily want to be in the ADC. Now, that's quite weighty, and if it is true, what hope does the ADC have for 2022, 2027, if it's going into the contest without a single governor? Now, the Northern Consultative Forum met and adopted the ADC. Is it a party of the North? What are the chances of the South? And how national is it in outlook if it is wearing a Northern color at this moment now? And this is all that we are going to interrogate when we return. Let's go for a short break and try to re-establish contact with Honorable George Ashiru. Join us again.
To thank for coming on the scene. Why? We were inexorably heading towards a one-party state, essentially. The last time we came close to it, I had one governor, I think Governor Abdullahi in Osun, saying that he's not going to leave PDP, but he's going to back President Tinubu. I mean, the last time we came close to anything like that was during Abacha, when people would be in one party and be supporting the candidate of another. It has never happened before. So for whatever it is worth, ADC is giving Nigerians alternative. So when we arrive 2027, Nigerians can look at the APC and say, are we happy with them? Okay, let them continue. If we are not happy, then what alternative? It's dangerous if there are no alternatives. The truth is that 90% of Nigerians are still in poverty. Nigeria is still the most unequal country in the world. And there are structural issues that need to be addressed that you are not addressing. Nigeria does not even have...
All right, thanks for staying with us again. We've been able to re-establish contact with Honorable Joy Ashuru. Now, Honorable, let's get to the big issue now. The big issue is that, look, Bolaji Abdullahi says that, look, that the present government is intimidating and harassing governors who ordinarily want to be in the ADC. That's quite weighty. And if it is true, what hope does the ADC have for 2027 if it is going into the contest without a single governor? I mean, the Northern Consultative Forum met and adopted the ADC as the party of the North. Babachi Lawal was very clear. He said the North has adopted the ADC as a political party ahead of 2027. What are the chances of the North, and how national does the ADC look if it is wearing a northern color at this moment of at this moment of inception? I think I've been able to put together a lot. I need for you to unbundle, to unpack all of that. Talking about the allegation by Bolaji Abdullahi that, look, governors have been intimidated and harassed. Is the ADC going into 2027 without a governor? How are they going to fare? And the fact that, look, North has said, look, we endorse, we have chosen ADC as the party of the North. What is the implication of all of that going forward?
The people vote. The governor only has one vote. Okay. All we need to do is go back to the fact that how many governors did Peter Obi have when he scored 6 million votes in the last election? How many governors? How many senators did Labour have when he won the Lagos State presidential ballots? See, the thing is, what we don't realize is that the people are yearning for change. People are yearning for change. A lot of people are going to be rebellious even to their governors. They are going to vote because they believe that there's a credible alternative. They will reject the governors that are not standing with them. They will reject the senators and members of House of Representatives that are not standing with them, because they have found a political platform that resembles a movement that will deliver for them something close to what they were hoping for when they all went to go and get their PVCs. And that is what ADC will deliver. We prefer to win election without the influence of godfathers. We prefer to win election because it is bottoms up movement in the political field. And so our message is to the people, and our message is transformational enough for it not to matter whether you have 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion that you're going to use for the election, because the people have found a credible alternative for the kind of leadership that they want. It is bad enough that the people vote a particular person as a governor, then he's sold out to his people under the platform that they voted him, and so that I went to another platform. That in itself is a betrayal of the people. Within the political party system, we call it anti-party, where you belong to a party and then you are given an instrument of office to that party, and then you go and work for another party. It is called anti-party. You cannot be voted in under a political platform and then you go and join another party that is the one people are complaining about has brought down their suffering. How can we move from a GDP of $580 billion in 2014? It came down to $300-something billion in Buhari's administration. Now it's 200, so it's almost practically half what it was 11 years ago. Is that the trajectory to a $1 trillion economy? The truth is, let us face it, the people are poorer and the buying power is less. And the worst part of it is that there's no sense of empathy from those who rule over us. No empathy. I keep saying it over and over again. If you tell people we're going to suffer for a while, but I can see where it's going. Okay. But when you have an entourage of 100 cars following you for a meeting, and you are telling people, don't worry, we're all in it together. When you are flying first class for every meeting, when you're always going abroad and going for one thing or the other, and all your minions are doing the same, and you're spending the same commonwealth, then how do you convince the people that it's not Animal Farm, where some people are more equal than others? It is this iniquity, equity that is making people believe that ADC is the alternative. And of course, every right-thinking political leader wants to associate with that.
Okay, all right. Honorable, before we come to Lagos State, let's talk a bit about the presidential candidacy of the ADC. Nigerians are finding it difficult to believe Bolaji Abdullahi when he said, no, that the party is yet to settle on a presidential candidate. Almost every Nigerian believes that, look, the ADC and Atiku are one and the same thing. How credible is Abdullahi's position? Nigerians are finding it difficult to believe him when he says that, look, ADC has not settled on a presidential candidate.
Why would anybody believe that one particular candidate is the preferred candidate of ADC?
Because he's been the one promoting the party.
No. You see, you have to realize that in the last election, this party endorsed Peter Obi for president. Okay. So what does that tell you? The antecedents of the party itself should have lent the credence to the possibility that it is actually Obi that may be the preference of the party. And now Atiku has come. People are saying it is going to be Atiku. See, all these people found something in ADC that made them reach out to us to say, we want to work with you in order to rescue Nigeria. And we believe the purpose of that phrase, coalition, is different from the same thing as somebody just joining us. This is not a decamping. These are people who have just decided, okay, you know what? Let us all converge in one political platform in order to serve the people. And every one of them, they are all involved. Today, some of them might still be in one party or the other party, but the most important thing is they've identified with the need for a coalition. And when the time comes, when we are going to have congresses and primaries, they will show their hand. They will determine or decide whether or not they want to jump in the fray. We cannot presume in advance that someone wants to run for office just because of the antecedents. We cannot presume in advance that somebody is going to become president or vice president. It does have presuppositions. What we believe, what we are going to practice, I can assure you, is that everybody will put their hats on the ring and we are going to conduct free and fair internal primaries.
I like that. I like that. Now, I'm happy that you brought in the Peter Obi angle to it. So let's look at the Peter Obi factor in the ADC. How far do you think that the ADC can travel without the political capital of a Peter Obi and the obedient movement? I like the fact that you said that the ADC endorsed Peter Obi in 2023. Now, there are talks here and there that has been cleverly edged out of the ADC. What's your reaction to that? Rotimi Amechi has stepped in. Atiku Abubakar has a larger-than-life image within the ADC and all of that. So, if it is that Peter Obi, I like the fact that you said it's going to be free, fair, and credible. So how about the money aspect of it? Do you think that Obi has enough money? And if he is eventually edged out, from the equation, how far do you think that the ADC can travel without that mass movement called the obedient movement, which Obi is likely to dump inside the ADC?
Well, I cannot speak ahead for the minds of these people. It is not my place to know what is on their mind and what they have all decided or agreed upon in their various conversations about forming a coalition movement under the ADC. But what I can tell you is this. Every single one of these leaders is committed to the idea of coming together and pooling their resources in the ADC in order to be able to rescue Nigeria. How they are going to implement it, we don't know in advance. And a lot of people are going to speculate. And speculation is good in politics because it means that the strategy is working. You cannot actually know what this party is going to do differently in order to be able to get the people's votes. But you see, the mere endorsement of ADC as a platform has already helped every future candidate of the party in various state houses of assembly, houses of reps, and Senate runs. So we tend to focus on the presidency. We've forgotten that by providing a platform for everybody to leave their various political platforms that are currently having issues to find a peaceful home allows them to focus on campaigning rather than solving internal problems within the party system. And even Obi will recognize that it's easier for him and his supporters to succeed in rescuing Nigeria through this coalition rather than singularly. If anybody running for government right now singularly is sending a message to the Nigerians that they're only interested in their own agenda. But the coalition is not one person's agenda. The coalition is the Nigerian agenda. That is all of us bringing all our hands into that ring.
Okay.
And so I expect that Peter Obi will support and endorse and in fact be a part of future elections in ADC. I expect that Amechi, I expect that El-Rufai, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, they will all be holding hands in this same ring to do a tag team to save Nigeria.
Okay, beautiful. Now, briefly, the interim national chairman of your party, talking about David Mark, is from the North Central. And just last week, the APC held its NEC meeting, National Executive Committee meeting, and took its chairmanship to the same North Central, possibly to counter David Mark's influence. How much weight does David Mark have to counter Iwada's influence, especially his INEC experience? And does that point to the fact that ADC presidential ticket will automatically come to the South if David Mark's position is ratified before the presidential primaries ahead of 2027? I've asked two questions in one. Can you help us unbundle all of that?
To start with, let me just assure you that it's good that the APC is reacting to ADC. That's a difference.
Okay.
It's good that ADC is pioneering movement and APC is reacting. And you see, when a general, a strategist is in charge of a political party, is going to think in warlike terms. He's going to plan his strategy, and you are not going to be able to predict his move. So I believe that the fact that Senator David Mark is the chairman of ADC interim, we believe that his strategic experience, his knowledge of the various types of government we've had in Nigeria, his past experience, his personal stature is going to give a more credible weight to what we're doing in ADC, and a paperweight brought up from anywhere to counter him, it's in itself unnecessary. But again, like I said, it's reactionary. I've always said that the government that reacts because of opposition's moves is not in charge. It is simply trying to survive.
Okay.
If you wait until somebody criticizes you and then you counter, somebody criticizes you, you counter, somebody goes there, you try and counter, that means you don't even know where you're going. A true government should know where it's going and keep going. But if you feel that you have to respond to every dog that barks, it means you don't really know where you're going. Okay. As far as we're concerned, Senator David Mark was not chosen because he was from North Central. He was chosen because he is a Nigerian leader of note.
Okay, now let's come to Lagos State, where you serve as the state chairman of the African Democratic Congress. I personally don't envy you. I don't envy you, and a lot of people don't envy you. Going back what Lagos has become in the past 26 years, more like under the thumb of one man, talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What magic do you have? What makes you think that you, the ADC, is able to take Lagos State from the APC and from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? What magic wand do you have?
Well, I don't have a magic one because I'm not a magician, but okay. I do have faith. I do have faith because I'm a child of God.
Okay.
And that faith is that when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice. When people have been in captivity and they finally find a way out, that faith will make them move in a direction where the light is pointing. And our job is simply to show them the light. We're not going to fight an unnecessary battle with any other group. We're not going to create some kind of a negative, a combatant form of leadership. People are tired of that. People are tired of traditional politics. In Lagos, people want transformational politics. They want something that transforms their lives. They want a message that resonates with their desires. They want something their children would like to be part of. How many political rallies in Lagos? They are afraid to go because it is gangsterism that has been running politics. We need to change all of that, and that is what we are going to work to make sure that the people can resonate with us and we resonate with them, and that is what's going to make them get up and say, I'd like to be part of it and I want to be part of this government because it's inclusive, not the one that is utterly exclusive, in which people know they're excluded. Even people within the same party know that they may never get positions, opportunity to serve because some people have been anointed 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. It is a rolling stone, So that's what we are going to stand on. The actual methodology on the ground, we have the experts that will make it happen. We have the strategies that will make it happen. But the most important thing is this: we are now the party that Lagosians are talking about. And that is very important. It means they are quarter to voting us. As soon as they start hearing what we stand for, as soon as they start seeing the kind of candidates we bring forth, as soon as they start seeing the kind of politics we practice, no violence, politics of wisdom, of common sense, of patriotism, of the language of peace, of global Lagos, not Lagos divided into you are not a Lagosian, so we don't want to see you. We are not preaching that type of politics in ADC. It's all inclusive, and that is why our motto is Arise Nigeria, Arise Global Lagos. It is global for everybody. You will feel included. You will feel the pride you had of Lagos in 1970, Lagos in 1980, Lagos in 1990, until 2023, when suddenly people are reminded that they are not born, they are not indigenous of Lagos, and therefore they cannot be part of this experience. We don't get that in New York. We don't get that in London. We don't get that in Tokyo. We don't get it in Paris. We don't get it in all these other capital cities. But Lagos, capital city, people are being excluded, and you see the message of inclusivity and the coalition effort that brings people from all across Nigeria together is going to make ADC a mini Nigeria that people can feel they belong to. And that is the critical message that will drive everybody to want to be part of a party that gives everyone a voice, not just some people.
Okay, now, Honorable Ashiru, if you go to bed, you wake up in the middle of the night, you realize that you are the state chairman of ADC and you are going into a contest in 2027. If you look back at 2023, what went down on the day of the Goba elections, do you get scared about how people were prevented, from going out to vote, people that were rooting for a particular political party, people from one ethnic stock, non-Westerners and all of that? Do you get scared? I want to know. Because I spoke to some people, Lagosians, and they said, Honorable Ashiru, I wonder what he's going to do. I'm scared for him and all of that. What's your reaction when you think about all of those things?
I don't think about it.
Okay.
I don't even worry myself about it. I have been a state chairman for 3 years. I was there during the last election.
Okay.
And the candidate of my party ran for governor, Funsho Doherty, ran for governor. So we already have experienced it.
Okay.
So the next one will not be a problem for me because we went through it in 2023. So the issue for us is that, you see, our love for Nigeria and our desire for the betterment of Nigeria is greater than our fear of a few people. Our belief in the Nigerians wanting change and something nicer and better for them is greater motivation. So when I sleep, my conscience is clear.
Okay.
I sleep properly. When we get to that bridge,
we shall. Okay, now, some people will say that your party wasn't as prominent then as it is now. I think that's the flip side of it, that ADC wasn't as prominent as it is now. Back then, it was the Labour Party that was on the spotlight. But now, ADC has a larger-than-life image because of the coalition and all of that. So one understands if you have gone through that, but some people still think that you might have to work harder to ensure that, that the system creates a level playing field. Now, before we leave, or before I let you go, there is this issue of the Lagos state government that is currently renaming some popular streets in Lagos and bus stops. One of them is Charlie Boy Street, which has been renamed Olamido Bado. What's your reaction to that? Is that because I'm happy you talked about inclusivity, trying to include everybody into what is known as the cosmopolitan and the metropolitan city of Lagos State. What will be the ADC's agenda in driving that form of inclusivity?
Well, the critical thing for us is that we will continue to remind people that you are not welcome here until a party that welcomes you is in power. See, when your rival is making a mistake, you don't correct them. You continue to let them do so that it sends a message to the electorate that you are ever going to be second class, third class, fourth, fifth class citizens in a state in which you are born, and you have your economic investment, and your children are in school, and you are paying your fair taxes, but you are never going to be recognized by a particular political party. They will never recognize you because you, in quotes, do not belong. They will never let your children become commissioners. They will never let your great grandchildren serve publicly, even though they may have been here for 150 years. That is a campaign message for ADC, and you can be sure you are going to hear it from our candidates when the time comes. Global Lagos, 24 million Nigerians, 8 million people don't vote who are qualified to vote just because they don't feel included. That is not democracy. You know, we have the lowest voter turnout in Nigeria, Lagos, the lowest, the largest population and the lowest voter turnout because of constant belief that we are not welcome in this place. That is not Nigeria that all of us suffered for. And we need to change that narrative. That's very important. And that's what ADC will do. Our language, our communication will make it all inclusive.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Honorable George Ashiru. It's been nice talking with you. It's a big pleasure of mine to have had you on Political Lens. And I hope that we can do this some other time.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Okay, big time. I appreciate your presence on Political Lens. Now, that's how far we can go on this conversation. On behalf of the backroom staff, talking about the technical director, Olusegun George, the bus manager, Engineer Hassan, sound engineer, Jeremiah Ete, and the ingest manager, Samuel. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Up next is Issues with Jerry Apollo High. Stay with us and don't go away, and enjoy the rest of your evening.